Hi, so it's Cookie here from Planet Mosh, and I'm being joined today by two members of the band iLiquor. So we have Sty and Rob. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Now, Sty is the bass player and Rob is the new lead singer. How long have you been with the band now, Rob?
I've been with the band for about, I want to say 8 years, 9 years.
Okay.
Sty's replacing me as the bassist, and I've since jumped on as vocalist.
Right. Okay. And you've just recorded a new EP, so this is the first time with you recording your own vocals for your own song. So
Yes.
how did that go?
Well, I'd experience recording in the past, but that was mainly backing vocals. So backing vocals, it was a lot easier because they were sort of like, if the shit would just put a bunch of mixing on or whatever. Whereas I felt like make or break with this because it took me back to when I first recorded with bass and I was just shitting myself the entire time. And I was terrified of wasting people's time, but it was a fun experience. And hopefully in the next recording I'll be even more confident and such. So
Yeah, I think when I last interviewed you, we spoke about the transition from bass to lead singer, and you were just sort of finding your feet. Now I know there hasn't been that much live gigging gone on this year, but how are you finding being in the front of the band? Is it getting to feel more normal?
I don't think it'll ever feel known because I'm not used to being in the limelight, I suppose, because like I've gone from the bassist to, no offense, it's like people don't tend, they're like, it goes, well, in Ilic it goes vocalist, drummer, guitarist, bassist in the most like people who want to talk to. So I was always so after the end of every show I would be like, all right, gig's over, Paul can fuck off and talk to whoever outside having a smoke. I'm going to get my gear. And now I'm trying to like, because I don't have any gear, I'm just kind of standing there and people are coming up towards me and like going, oh, that was sick. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking weird.
yeah, try to do it. Now you've managed to have one gig recently as a socially distanced gig.
Yes.
Maybe Sty, talk us through what that experience was like.
To be fair, the Spinning Top in Stockport did an absolutely fantastic job. It was brilliant. It wasn't ticket only, and it was free to get in, but you had to book a table. So everyone had their own table. You would text through your drinks to the bar. They'd bring you drinks. Didn't have to have a mask on while you were sat down, but you had to have a mask on while you were going to and from the toilet. And we had to play with masks on as well. But it was brilliant. It was, to be honest with you, after this year and the time in the studio, it was what the band needed. We needed a live gig. And when we came off stage, I said, Lee, we needed that as a band. We just needed that release, and it was really well organised. And I think short term, that's the future. I really do.
And did you cope wearing a mask while playing?
I did, apart from when it
problems.
Yes, it came off in one song. Happened to be one of our songs. I don't remember what song it was now. Oh, Frankenstein, where there's a bass solo at the start and in the middle of it. Anyway, we're playing sort of halfway through it, and it came off. And I turned to Adam out of Cringe in the Battlecast and said, "Put this back on." So he puts it back on over my eyes. Comes to the bass solo, so I'm like, "Oh shit, I got that." Anyway, I got through it. I think just. But yeah, it's not ideal, but it's got to.
It is what it is in these crazy times.
Yeah, but so we needed that. We needed that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That and did the rest of the band feel the same way?
I think so, Rob.
To gel.
I did miss playing live shows. It was a really fun experience. Apart from the whole breathing experience, because trying to catch your breath while you scream your lungs out and you got a mask on under these blaring hot lights. It's quite difficult, but if that's the only downside, I'm down to do that much more because I really, really missed playing live shows. And
yeah, just think we all thought it was ridiculous with Corey wearing a mask 20 years ago. Now we're all doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy. So going back to your EP, so you've recently recorded it. It's not released yet. Have you got a release date for it yet?
I don't know, Rob. What do you think? I reckon it's going to be end of November. Do you?
I
think.
Well, we're getting the masters back in roughly 2-ish weeks, and we're going to listen to them. If there's something that we don't like about it, we'll have to obviously change it. But it will be out hopefully by the end of the year at least. I imagine that'll be digitally because physically it's going to be quite difficult to, because being a not so pop, like we've got fans obviously, but we've not got a huge following. I imagine like getting the physical CD, most of our physical sales are through gigs, which unfortunately are not happening. So I imagine the album will be released digitally and the physical copies will come later when people are ready to start gigging again.
Okay, cool. And when you were writing this, so did you write it all separately, or did you come together and write as a group?
And a few of the songs were already written when I joined. Bastard's Eyes, Frankenstein was there as well. Hazmat Holiday. I think there's only another three that we've written together as a band, which was Those Who Plague Us,
40 Watt Havoc,
40 Watt Havoc, and what's the other one, Rob? Indulgent Dissection. So they're the three that.
So who looks at doing the lyrics, and who tends to write music, or do you do a mix of both? Do you have a main songwriter?
I think I'm the main songwriter. But whenever I'm writing lyrics, I'll always pass it to the band first, because like being a punk band, there's always that one song with a message and such. And in this album, we do have like message songs, which like are either political or social political in nature. And I always make sure like, is this something that like we all agree with? And they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. Maybe word a bit different. I think my original draft of our song Hazmat Holiday, Lee had an issue with it because being from a emo background, my lyrics were really fucking depressing. He was like, yeah, that's not us, change them. And I was like, all right, that's fair.
Yeah. So is it... Go on.
I write the majority of lyrics, but they fine-tune them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So what kind of political message were you getting across in the songs in this album?
Oh, shit.
Putting you on the spot there.
Yeah, Identity Crisis is an anti-racist song. It's people who have it's mainly focused at the rise of alt-right people my age or younger, who I believe is not their views. I think that because what you find with a lot of racists throughout the years is that most people who get put into this are people who don't believe that they belong in a certain society. They don't believe they belong to this clique or this clique. They're an outcast. And you get the people from the old generation going, well, join us. You belong somewhere. And that's where people get caked in. And it's basically saying that those people, those views aren't your views. You're a puppet and you're a fucking moron for it. That's why it's Identity Crisis, because it's not their it's somebody they're promoting an identity that is not them.
Fantastic. That's a really good view.
The other one is Frankenstein. Not Frankenstein. That's all about that's all references to like horror novels and shit. Which one was? I'm trying to remember which one the one.
Indulgent. Indulgent. That's got a good message.
Indulgent Dissection is about suicidal awareness. I've had suicidal tendencies since I was 7 years old. I had self-harming tendencies at 7. First suicide attempt, I believe, was at age 8. And I've been in and out of therapy and all sorts since then. I'm 26 years old now. And I thought, I think I've got a good grasp on what depression is like and such. And it's not something that... Depression isn't something that you just magically get cured of. You get... like one day you wake up and go, oh, I'm cured. It's not. It's learn to adapt and survive. It's a survivor mentality, less so a victory.
Totally, and becoming self-aware.
Yeah.
Do you find through writing lyrics that helps you become self-aware?
Oh, completely. That's another song, but with Indulgent Dissection, it's about how, because when you're depressed, you always feel like a burden to other people. You don't want to ever speak out because you feel like you're pressuring people, like you're putting your burdens onto them. And when in reality, the people who deserve to know you want you to put that burden on them if it lessens yours. And it's urging people to either seek professional or like just speaking out to a loved one or friend, because just having a conversation with a friend can make the difference in life and death, literally. As for my personal ones is Hazmat Holiday, which Hazmat Holiday sounds like it was written during the pandemic, but it wasn't. It was actually written before Sty even joined the band. I wrote that song because I was on antidepressants. I've been on antidepressants like here and there throughout my life, and it's less so you don't feel anything on antidepressants, or what I didn't anyway. And it was sort of talking about that experiences and me convincing myself that I deserve to be happy, I deserve to be loved, and it's about that stuff. It's really fucking emo, like Lee said, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, you know, and I think over the last maybe 5 years, the awareness of all our mental health has really come to the forefront, and it's quite important. If you are somebody that has struggled, to not be afraid to share that message through whatever medium you want, whether that is through your music or whether that's being open and talking about it. So, you know, more power to you.
Before we move on, Bastardized is about how it doesn't matter if you're left or right, we're still useless on each side. We don't control the system, so it doesn't even matter if you're left or right at this point in time. And Those Who Plague Us is about how we should publicly hang rapists and pedophiles. So there you go.
A good mix of subjects then, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Totally. Talking about Bastardized, Sty, I know that there is a video out on YouTube. Can you talk a little bit about the making of that?
Well, we wanted to go off to some sort of ruins or somewhere scenic to film it. But obviously with the local restrictions, we just never got round to it. We had a good place other side of Wales where we were talking about doing it on a mountain and having a slash moment in November rain, if you like, one of them sort of things. But it never happened. So all we did was we just took a camera into the studio and we just filmed for 3 days. And it's just all been put together. So it's basically a studio-based video. But it's come out pretty good. It's pretty cool.
It looked like you were having quite a bit of fun while you were doing it.
We had fun. We had some tantrums. We had some guitars throwing. We had typical studio stuff, which is why I said we needed that. We needed that gig.
Yeah. And an interesting use of duct tape. I noticed.
Yeah.
And anybody else that watches the video, keep your eye out for duct tape.
Yeah, I'm not going to say any more then. I'm going to tell you why, but I won't tell you any more.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about the EP, and to just sort of describe. I was lucky enough that I got to hear some of the rough demo of the new EP, and I recognise that there's a little bit of a change in direction in the band, an intensity that wasn't there before. Why do you think that that's happened? Has it been a natural progression, or has it been because of the changes and you coming into the band and Rob taking over on the vocals?
I wouldn't say it's me coming into the band. I'd say it's just the way the band has changed. I mean, you've got Rob's gone off bass onto vocals. Paul's left. Paul had a more punky style voice, I thought, where Rob's taken us more on I would say more down a hardcore thrash path.
I think
if you like.
I think the change. Well, we never consciously make that change. We never right, let's make a dark album or whatever. It's always been oh, that sounds good, we'll have it. But I think it has been because of the lineup change and our background as well. Because Paul, he was very influenced by bands of his generation like Stamping Ground and such, and he brought that element into the bands. I come from obviously my emo, but then I got more modern hardcore bands, but then also metalcore, deathcore, black metal, all that side of vocals. Hence why there's a lot more there's guttural lows now. And I think that influenced the vocal style. And then with Sty's history in thrash, that gave it more of the aggression. I feel that's why it sounds more aggressive than usual.
Yeah, I can definitely hear the thrash coming through from Sty's background.
Completely.
It's really,
I think,
really impressive.
I mean, what's good for me is the music that drew me to the band. In a way, because we've gone off on this other tangent now. For me, this other tangent, it's something even more spectacular than what it was. So what sucked me into, don't forget, I was a fan of the band before I joined. So what sucked me into being a fan of the band and now going off in this different direction, for me, is just perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I think it'll just get better.
You and me, ironically, have both started off as fans of the band and then ended up joining. I saw Eilica. My dad used to be in a rock band called Killer Instinct, and they did their own stuff, but they also did covers of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Thin Lizzy, that sort of 70s rock sort of stuff. And there was a benefit gig. I was 14 years old, and we were playing this pub around Christmas. It was freezing cold, and all of a sudden, I find out there's another band playing. I was like, "Oh, do you like punk?" Yeah, I like punk. Sex Pistols, woo. Because at this time, I was listening to mainly bands like Therapy and Placebo. I wasn't really listening to. I was listening to heavy stuff, but not really heavy stuff. And then Eilica came on, and I was like, "What the Jesus Christ is this?" Because everyone had gone from listening to Freebird to Therapist, aka the Rapist, screaming down the mic, and people were like, "What the hell is going on?" And then Lee was just passing out free demos, which I still have that demo, and I listened to it. And then a few years later, when I was about 17, 18, I was 18, and they're like, "Oh, Eilica were looking for a bassist to fill in for a few gigs. Do you want to do it?" And I'd recently pitched for the bass, and I was like, "All right, I'll get it. It's a life experience. I'll do it." And then I've been in the band 8 years since. Whereas you found us on Facebook, didn't you, Sty?
Yeah, well, one of my friends put a clip of you playing in Blackpool in the Punk Fest. Was it last year? And he happened to put a clip on a
before.
Filth. Year before, sorry. He happened to put a clip on a Filth. And I messaged him and said, "Who's this?" He goes, "Oh, Eilica's are. They're really good." So I got in touch with Lee, reviewed your Rabbit Hole EP. And then next thing I saw an advert, you were looking for a bass player. Which, believe it or not, in 2 weeks' time is a year. It's a year since I've been in the band.
Yeah, Jesus.
Wow, and yeah, quite a bit's happened for you since you've joined the band, hasn't it? Yeah. Just because of the world. Exactly. I know you were because it's Manchester based, and you're based in North Wales. Mm-hmm. It's been quite a lot of effort getting back into practice and things like that, I believe.
In normal time or in COVID time?
Yeah, well, in normal times.
It's usually okay. We've had a couple of instances where it's took me over 3 hours when it should take an hour, really. But that's just due to shit happens. It's just a smack here on the motorway, a smack there. But I mean, since COVID, I mean, once the restrictions eased a bit and we started going back to practice, I was doing it in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's not even speeding. It was just an absolute breeze. And that was at 4:30 in the afternoon, and to the point where I wasn't leaving until 5:45. And I was getting there, it was just easy. But and I think it'll be that way for a while. But we are now in lockdown again, so we're snookered again.
Yeah, so at the moment, you're not allowed to leave Wales. Unfortunately, Rob can't come and visit you in Wales. So how are you going to keep the band's momentum during lockdown? Have you got any plans?
Well, the album, I feel, because of the restrictions going on, we believe, because Manchester is tier 3, or is going to be tier 3, because Manchester's getting the fucking brunt of the England side of it, I feel. We're not allowed to meet anyone from other households, which is the band, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, we can't even practice. I'm update myself on the lyrics of the previous albums because we still want to play them, but unfortunately, it's quite hard to understand what Paul said sometimes. But I think until lockdown's either restricted or over, we're going to be promoting the new album. And that's going to be the focus, really. But then it's also going to be Christmas time, so we're going to be spending it with our families.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think
spending it with our families.
Yeah.
I think in regards to the album, Momentum, I think we got the video single to come out. Once we're happy with the master, we can put that underneath it and get that video out. We then got the album coming out, but we can do another video. We can keep the momentum going by doing another song off the album.
We could do what Cringe did. People recording themselves in the room.
Yeah, go on, carry on talking, because this will be an exclusive. What you two planning now?
It's
brainstorming.
Because of COVID and such, and many, despite being like under lockdown and like no gigs happening, there's been some really good music being released at the moment. As you write for Planet Mosh, so it's as you would know, but a lot of these bands have been releasing sort of like a collage of either friends or fans of the band, just like moshing or singing along to the song. You sort of like that. It's not Weezer. It's another band. Feeder. Yeah, that Feeder music video. They're all basically doing that. So that might be an idea.
Yes, I've seen a couple of them. I know the Agonist did, because I follow them, and they did a fan video. Worked quite well.
Cringe have done that, and the Manchester Slam band Ingested have done that as well.
Yep, sign me up. I'll have 5 seconds. I'll mosh out for you for 5 seconds.
5 seconds, like a third of us running time. What are you talking about? It's a really short EP. I think we're sort of running towards the end now. We've been going for half an hour.
That's good. Yeah.
So I suppose it's difficult to know what are your next plans long term, because we don't know what's going to happen. But when do you think that you're going to start playing live again? Is it the moment the lockdown's over? Do you have any plans for that? There was talk of a mini tour, wasn't there?
There's nothing lined up, is there? There was a gig. We were meant to be playing in Cardiff, weren't we? Was it next weekend?
I think so, yeah.
That's out the window, isn't it? So
I just want to play in Scotland. We've been trying since the band's inception to play in Scotland, and every time we've many promoters in Scotland are like, if you're not Scottish or famous, fuck off. But we finally got some promoters that are like, you know what, we'll give you a try. And we had this whole Scotland tour planned, and then fucking COVID happened. So I want to play in Scotland, but as far as when, I have no idea. It might be a situation as like the gig, the social distance gig. Obviously, we want to keep it safe and such, but there's no knowing.
The thing is,
I think the good thing we've got is that we've got this album to keep us going, because if we didn't do that this year, then we'd have nothing. At least we've got something constructive to come out of the year, I think.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's always been a life experience, and I'm a self-proclaimed mosh pit person, and I just can't wait to get back to jumping on somebody and having them push me back. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be happening. By the time that actually gets back to happening, I'm probably going to be too old. It could be years. So anyway, so Sty and Rob from iLiquor. This is Cookie for Planet Mosh signing off, and we'll see you the next time.
Take care.
Cheers.